Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to a special Monday edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. I've been overwhelmed with your questions from Twitter, and that's where I'll be answering questions from now on, twitter.com/AaronRift, hashtag NoDQ. And you can also send questions for the Scoop with the Scoop hashtag and Talk Wrestling with the Talk Wrestling hashtag. Got a lot of your questions here. Going to try and get through as many as possible. First one today comes from Charles Schultz, and his Twitter handle is @TootAllCrandall. Good grief. If Seth Rollins wins at SummerSlam, who will be the guy to take the championship from him? Well, even if Seth Rollins defeats John Cena at SummerSlam, I still think there's a strong possibility that John Cena will be the guy to beat Seth Rollins for the title. The typical WWE pattern is when guys have a feud, they don't just have one pay-per-view match. They have 2, 3, even 4 pay-per-view matches in a row. The way it's been going in WWE, if I had to make a prediction, I would say that John Cena and Seth Rollins will have a match at Night of Champions, have a match at Hell in a Cell, maybe even a match at Survivor Series, or maybe they'll have a multi-man match. Who knows? But I think there's a decent chance Cena will get the title back, and maybe Seth Rollins will win it back again and be champion until WrestleMania. That's a possibility, and there's other possible matches for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania with him being the champion. I'll get to that in a second here. Got this question here, speaking of Seth Rollins, from Joke Exification, and that's his Twitter handle. What's next for Seth Rollins after SummerSlam? Do you see him staying with the Authority or breaking off to feud with Triple H? Well, as I just mentioned, it would not surprise me at all if we see the Seth Rollins and John Cena feud continue past SummerSlam. But eventually, one would think that WWE would do a split between Seth Rollins and Triple H. And that's what was the original rumored match for SummerSlam, Seth Rollins versus Triple H. But clearly that's not happening. And you have to keep in mind that Kane will be back at some point, and one will think he's going to be babyface, and he'll have the mask again or whatever, and you'll do Seth Rollins versus Kane, and then after that, you can do Seth Rollins versus Triple H. So there's no shortage of matches for Seth Rollins leading up to WrestleMania. My prediction, and this is just speculation on my part, is it'll be Seth Rollins versus John Cena for the next couple months, and then towards the end of the year, it'll be Seth Rollins versus Kane, and then maybe Seth Rollins versus Triple H. I mean, it seems inevitable. I mean, it only makes sense to eventually have the split between Seth Rollins and the Authority and have them feud with each other. And I got this one here from Jonathan. Oh my God. Hey Aaron, when do you see Roman Reigns back in the world title picture? Well, I thought Rollins and Roman Reigns would have gone at it by now for the WWE title. That's what I was expecting back at WrestleMania when Seth Rollins cashed in. I figured, okay, Roman Reigns will win a couple big matches, and then it'll set up for SummerSlam, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I figured WWE would build Roman Reigns back up for the world title, but that hasn't happened. I mean, Roman Reigns did pick up a few big wins. He beat the Big Show, and he did lose to Bray Wyatt, though, and he's missed the last few episodes of Raw and SmackDown. So it feels like WWE doesn't have Roman Reigns at the top of their priority list right now. And I'm not sure what the deal is with Roman Reigns. I am a little bit surprised that he's not back in the main event picture, and they're just going back with John Cena again. One would think that of all the people on the WWE roster, Roman Reigns would be the closest thing to the guy to beat Seth Rollins and be the next big star in the company. But, you know, plans change, and I don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns. I'd still like to see Roman Reigns get a big push and get the main event spot just the way WWE did it last year. They dropped the ball. I'd still like to see a Shield triple threat match, and that leads me to this next question here from Johnny Lesnar Boy 811. Do you see a Shield triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship as a possible main event for WrestleMania 32? I've gotten the questions about the Shield triple threat, and I really feel that is the best time to do it. the longer you wait, I think the less interest there'll be in that match. I think, you got to strike the iron when it's hot. And I think WWE should do that match sooner than later. And to me, WrestleMania 32 is the perfect place to do it. That's the best venue to have that match. And you're already going to have Undertaker and Lesnar and Cena and all those guys in high-profile matches. So why not do the Shield Triple Threat match? I'd love to see it for WrestleMania 32, the biggest stage possible. And, going back to earlier, possibly Seth Rollins stays WWE champion or loses it and wins it back and goes on to defend it at WrestleMania 32, and you can build back up Roman Reigns, you can build back up Ambrose, and have one of those guys win the title at WrestleMania and establish them as the next top babyface. So, I mean, that is something that seems to be logical, and that would make sense, but don't know if that's going to happen or not. Just purely speculation on my part. But yes, I would like to see it. Don't know if it's going to happen, though. All right, moving on here from the Seth Rollins topics. This one comes from Alex G. The King Alex. The THA King Alex on Twitter. Do you think that WWE unfairly allows Cena multiple false finishes in his matches, giving an illusion that he is putting on great matches, when in reality, no other more talented wrestler on the roster gets those long matches? Well, the thing about John Cena is, I feel that he works as hard as anybody else in WWE. Now, there are lots of really talented guys on the WWE roster. There's guys that are more technically sound than John Cena on the roster, no doubt. But as far as the amount of work that Cena puts in, I think that he is as good as anybody, if not better. And that's why he's in the spot he's in, because he is 100%, 110%, whatever you want to say. He puts his heart and soul into everything that he does. And, some people say, well, it's because he's in there with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and that's why his matches are so memorable. And, the false finishes, a lot of people can do that. But John Cena, he puts the work in. He has earned his spot in WWE, whether you like him or not. And I feel that, as the saying goes, it takes two to tango. John Cena makes those matches memorable. And no doubt the other guy, whether it's Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn or Cesaro, both guys put in the effort, and that's what makes the match memorable. And yes, the false finishes, it adds to it, and it is a gimmick, but Cena makes it work. Cena puts in the effort, and as JBL said on Raw, he's a tough son of a bitch. John Cena really is a machine. That guy has been going hard, going fast for over a decade now, and he's had very few injuries. He had the broken nose, and he's had a few other injuries here and there, but he's always bounced back very quickly, and that's why he's in the spot that he's in. All right, this one comes from Antonius, M. Johnson 276 on Twitter. Did you think WWE dropped the ball on Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn? I feel that both of them got as far as they were going to get in WWE. There's only so many spots, and you have to look at the time period. You had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, you had Triple H. You had a very crowded roster. And of the four Radicals, I mean, Benoit was arguably the most talented technical wrestler, and Eddie Guerrero was arguably the most charismatic of the group. Dean Malenko, great wrestler, but he lacked in the charisma department and didn't really have the WWE main event superstar look. And Perry Saturn, very solid performer, not a great promo, but he could go in there, and he fit well in the hardcore division. I mean, he was in there, and that was his kind of style, and that's what worked for him. So I feel both guys were utilized well. I'm not sure if there was any higher position that they could have been in. I just feel maybe if it was a different era, maybe both of them would have done better. But considering how crowded that roster was, I think both of them did okay. All right, this one comes from Devin Sharon. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly. If you could book Goldberg's streak ending, how would you do it? I would have had somebody beat Goldberg and be elevated from that and create your next big superstar from that. I would not have somebody who's already established like Kevin Nash ending the streak. If it was me, I would have had Scott Steiner end it. Scott Steiner was really gaining momentum as Big Papa Pump. I don't think I would have ended the streak at that Starrcade. I think Goldberg could have gone another 6 months undefeated. It was way too soon, in my opinion. But I would have continued to have built up Scott Steiner with the Big Papa Pump character and eventually had him beat Goldberg, and that establishes Scott Steiner as the guy in WCW. You know, WCW did push Scott Steiner really strong, but it was too little too late. By the time Steiner won the title and was going on his rampage, the company was already, you know, there was no point of return for WCW. They were already a sinking ship. The Titanic had already hit the iceberg. It was already sinking. There was no saving it. If WCW had booked Steiner, you know, the end of 2000, if they had done that a year earlier, a year and a half earlier, when the company was still salvageable, it could have been a different situation, and maybe WCW would still be around. Yeah, it was just a situation where it was too little, too late. But if it was me, I would have booked Scott Steiner in late 2000, a year and a half earlier, having him beat Goldberg and just go on a rampage, and I think it would have done good business for WCW. All right, this one comes from Justin Rutherford. What would you rate Season 1 of Lucha Underground? Well, I've only seen parts of episodes and various matches. I haven't seen every single episode, but I've really enjoyed Lucha Underground, everything that I've seen from it. I think it's a good alternative to WWE, and that's what I like about it, is that it's something different from the norm. It's different from TNA. It's different from Ring of Honor. It's its own unique brand, and I like that, and I think that that's the key to a successful alternative promotion, is you need to be different. It needs to be a true alternative to WWE, and you know, the stuff that people look down on for WWE, you know, you need to do something different for Lucha Underground and other promotions. So, you know, I say so far so good. I hope Lucha Underground gets their second season and they continue. You know, it's good for the business to have more options out there. So, you know, so far so good, and I like the direction they're going, and I hope they keep it up. And that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WWE, TNA, SummerSlam, all those topics and more. And I will see you guys next time.